If you are here, if I am here, if you are watching me and I am here talking to you, I can assume that we're probably both on the internet. We're both active users of this web. We're both on here. We like to enjoy, we like to surf, we like to consume, we like to maybe produce. And I'm going to assume that you're not an AI. If you want to prove that to me, maybe give a subscribe, give this video a like already. But you have time till the end of the video to do that. I don't know if you have noticed, but the internet as we know it has completely changed. The ways that we engage with the internet, the ways that we, our relationship to social media platforms, AI, the way it is completely changing our way of navigating, searching things, of finding information on the internet. And this is something that I really want to bring to our attention because I don't think we are aware yet on a mass scale as the masses. The critical mass is not yet aware of the ways in which the internet, digital media, social media platforms are extensively changing our ways of understanding the world, our values, our way of taking actions towards the things that we want to achieve in life, our personal relationships to the outside world, to our family members, our friends, the way that we perceive other people, but also our relationship to ourselves and the way that we create, form our own identity, understand ourselves, and love ourselves, the way that we want to be perceived by the world. It is highly, highly mediated and highly influenced by these devices and their services provided to us that influence our behavior in ways that we're kind of aware of to an extent. It's not hidden knowledge, but we're not yet quite aware of the ways in which it literally rewires our psychology. That can sound very scary, but I'm a very optimistic person. I have a lot of hope and I love to understand processes. I love to understand technology in a way that it can serve me instead of me being a slave to technology. I like to find ways to understand things so I can learn to control them and not be controlled. This is all about getting free, all about being sovereign, independent, self-reliant human beings, because I really believe that if we walk that path and if we learn to control ourselves, understand ourselves better, this is how we can also create a society which is going to be beneficial to what we truly need as individuals in a globalizing society where a lot of different people of a lot of different walks of life are coming together. There's a need for understanding of the self so we can come together and mediate our differences in a very diplomatic, loving, empathetic way. Anyways, information is more available to anyone all the time. It's at our fingertips. I think if we look at the entire history of humankind, I think this is a time where information has never been as accessible as it is right now. And that is such a riches, but it is also, there's always a double-edged sword. There's always ways in which there's a flip side to whatever that thing is. Because even though there's a lot of information available, I feel like we as humanity, as people, as individuals, we are more lost than ever before. I feel like as a society, we are in this position of high moral confusion and not knowing what is black, what is white, what is right, what is wrong, what is above, what is below. Even the concepts of God and the devil do not hold that much value because we are able to access so much information that we are able to bring a lot of new ones, and it's broadening our understanding of the world. But up to a point that we don't even for ourselves are able to find what our true north is, what the compass is that we need for ourselves, and what information can we can use as a map, as a road for our own personal journey. And I feel like the fact that we are so oversaturated with information online plays a very, very, very big role into that. This is going to be about learning discernment, learning to trust your intuition, and really learning how to trust yourself. That is what navigating these online platforms have taught me, what I am learning to focus on to not lose my mind and to not get lost in just the overflow of information that we are constantly dwelling in. And did you know that a lot of the information that we are consuming now is not even provided by humans? It's just AI robots recycling old information and making conclusions, and then even recycling the own information that they are producing in a way that the whole human interaction, the value of human experience and emotion and consciousness are taking away from this information. Even the way that we are searching online is not in a way that is organic, the way that it used to be on the Google search bar. Like everything is AI, everything is put together, and there's a whole lot of systems in it. But anyways, that's a whole other rant. But let me not be rude before we get into the video, and let me introduce myself. Hi, my name is Lean. If you are new to this channel, I love to talk about spirituality, self-development, but I'm also very into media studies. I'm graduating this year, my master's in communication, media, technology studies. I take a very psychological approach to media and communication and the way that it really influences our consciousness. I strive for balance in life. I strive for intentional living, and I really want peace and love, and I want the best. Like, I'm a modern hippie, but in a very cynical and a very realistical way. Like, I know there's a lot of bullshit traps in this life, so we have to be careful with that. But still, those are the things that I thrive for. And with my media studies, I feel like I have been able to understand and use media as a mirror to understand myself and my own psyche. So it's always a good starting point for me to talk about the self and the own, and like thriving for spiritual development, self-realization, through understanding the ways that we are navigating and working with media, content, creativity, things like that. So if you're down for that, or if you're not down for that, whatever you do, whatever you want to do, but at least you know where I'm coming from. Feel free to have your different opinions. Feel free to add your own thoughts, your own experiences to whatever I say. I always love to hear from you guys, and I always love to learn more. So let this be an open space where we can share our ideas. I briefly mentioned I already briefly mentioned it, but I think that what the online world is learning me right now is the importance of discernment. There has never been so much similar content, and I'm not even on TikTok, but I feel like everyone is giving advice, telling people what to do, explaining how to get to a certain point. Like, and the reason that I'm talking about this is because recently I've been seeing quite a lot of content about people talking about the wizard Liz. I really don't like to talk about people's private lives like that or take people as an example, but I was quite surprised by how many people were talking about this, how many people were taking something that happened to she's kind of like the new age YouTuber with like the manifestation, and also like, self-development advice, like guidance. Like, she was closer to my lane, and I feel like the people that are talking about these things, about becoming the best version of yourself, choosing you, things like that, I felt like that was not yet in the mainstream. That was not really something that everyone watched. I think for me that was really niche still. But to see that so many other YouTubers were kind of talking about this and like mentioning this subject, for me it showed like, oh, actually a lot of people are kind of watching these videos. A lot of people are aware of this presence, and a lot of people come in contact with content creators or with content in general that are saying certain things about behavioral patterns, way to optimize yourself, way to change, or like changing behaviors, changing your thoughts to become a certain person, which was a very, I don't know, it kind of, I was like, interesting. Something is happening in this online sphere that I'm not really aware of. And as we are all saying, giving our 2 cents, this is where it's going to be so important to be able to receive information, listen to another person's stories, ideas, thoughts, testimonies, opinions through a critical lens. A lot of the times, information, even personal information, personal experiences these days, as we are all creators and as we are able to monetize certain information, as information has become such a high currency, a lot of the people are going to take their own experiences, come online and share those as truth, as fact, something that is always right. And this is what has bothered me a lot when watching videos of like spirituality, manifestation, or even self development. Even though I can appreciate it at certain times, sometimes we just need that big sister, that big bro on the internet waking us up and telling us like, yo, you need to get your shit together because you're the fucking problem. That can be good. But if you think about it subconsciously as consumers, when we are not aware of the relationship those people have to the media, to the content that they create, and if we aren't aware of the way that our consumption might also influence the way that we see them, the idea that we have of them, it's like everything is constructed in a way so much that we see online content as truth. You have to actively work to strengthen your critical mind and your discernment to not passively receive information online. Because when we let go and when we are just consuming without having that critical mind activated, without knowing it or not, being passive is easy. And when we do that, we allow external information and external voices to write the truth for us. And I need you to understand that this happens on a very subconscious, deep way. This is not something explicit. This is not that someone has the intention to manipulate or change your truth. This is just the psychology behind communication, behind media. And a lot of the times, no, not even a lot of the times, media is not reality. And I need us to understand that. I need us to repeat that to ourselves to a very deep extent. Media is a representation of reality, but media is reality. It's vision mediated. So at its core, it is already an illusion. If we are aware that at the core, because of the technology, because of the way that information is presented to us, that it is already an illusion, we will be able to better navigate certain content, certain opinions, and still take from it what we need, because there's still truth, there's still value in it. But the danger lies in not seeing in which ways there is a hidden aspect to it. There is a, how do you say, manipulation of reality. Manipulation is a neutral word. It doesn't have to be bad. Doesn't have to be good. We all manipulate. We all change things. It's sometimes not with intention. Some people have negative intentions when they manipulate. Some people try to create ideas of who they are, try to create personalities or present themselves online in ways that are quite deceiving people. And we saw this a lot in around 2016 era with the what was it called, the flex culture. Thank God we already went away from that, but people are still flexing today, but more with like, look how good my values are, look how I have a loving relationship. My family is perfect. I have good friendships. I have clean, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, clean skin. My grades are perfect. I have a lot of money. We are still flexing, but just in different ways, just in subtle ways. That is what we have to be careful for, because it is easy to come online and say certain things, but we do not know how these people are living on an every single day basis. People can say things, but that doesn't mean that within their personal connections, those people are the same, you know? And this brings me to an idea that I've been thinking about for a few years already. It's something that has been slowly growing in my mind as I have been studying, and that is the difference between online versus reality. I have noticed within just the social sphere a division between two worlds, and I don't think these two worlds have only been divided as media has come. I think that has always been the case. There is the world of ideas and there's the material world. And I'm sure I'm not the first person talking about this. I'm sure I did not invent the hot water, but I cannot remember where I got it from. I should probably look that up. But the way that I see it is that there's two worlds also in our social spheres. It is the online social sphere and the reality social sphere. And the way that I see it, it's that the online world, it's the world of the spoken ideas, concepts, thoughts. It's the also the spiritual world for me. It's more in that kind of world. I feel like media are like an extension of that invisible world, that world that we know is there, but we cannot see, we cannot physically touch. We can be present in it, we can live in it, we can be stuck in it, but it is not tangible. It's not physically here, okay? You can have conversations in it. You can, it's like, for example, angels, and that's in relation to the spiritual world. Angel spirits, that is also more in this online world. It's the other social realm where you cannot necessarily see the dream world. It's all the same for me. It's not tangible. Social media, the mediated world, especially platforms where we are able to engage with other people, so we're able to have conversations with other people, it's very up there. And I feel like those are extensions of that spiritual realm, actually. And then on the other side, there's the material world, the world where you can actually break something, you can hold things. It's atoms that are actually manifested into matter. It's the physical relationships, the body, it's the touch, it's nutrition, food, things like that that we also need. And as media has become more massively available, because media has been here for a very long time, it just has taken a different shape, and the new technologies have allowed for a rapid expansion because it has crossed the bridges of time and space in ways that other mediums like books or stone or like very physical space related materials weren't able to cross, have really created this rapid growth of a social sphere that maybe was only accessible for a limited amount of space. Because, for example, to understand the spiritual world, and the spiritual realm is also the realm of psychology, of the mind. And to understand this realm, you need information. It's unlocked through information. It's a world that the more you understand about, the more it understands about itself, the more it reveals itself. So it's like, I don't know. It's literally the third eye almost, like if I think about it right now. So a lot of times when there's like a new technology or that it reaches the masses, we are still all being introduced to it, and we do not yet understand the ways it impacts us, the way it impacts society. So the equilibrium between like this balanced living between a certain technology and human beings kind of get disrupted. And I feel like now we're at this critical point in history, or in the natural evolution of our relationship with media and humanity, where we're gonna have to find a balanced point again and really take a step back, or really be critical about the ways that we are indulging in this social sphere, because so much is happening there and everything kind of has shifted to the online world, even in a lot of industries. If you look at the cultural industries, media industries, journalism, music industries, just all these creative industries that had to so quickly adapt to the social sphere, because it felt like whatever was material was kind of becoming irrelevant, like vinyl, like physical books, like a lot of consumption happened materially, and now everything kind of had shifted to the social realm, and the economy kind of just followed along the way. But as we see it, we are living in this era where it's kind of becoming dangerous, because there's this point where we are not able to realize that what we see online is not real, and that what people present is not necessarily what they are in reality. And we are living in this world of just a mass delusion almost. And I'm not saying that everything that we say or do, or all concepts or theories that we share, is a bad thing, but it is up to us now on an individual level first before we are able to have enough individuals that are realizing this, so we can like stand up as a society, that we have to realize that we still need a healthy balance between the online and the material world. We still need to understand that there's a difference between people that are walking and that are only talking. And that has been very difficult for me, because not difficult, but eye opening for me, is that as you see that a lot of people have the words, a lot of people have information, a lot of people know how to say things in ways that make them sound intelligent and that make them sound like they have integrity. People know how to sell themselves like never before. Everyone can say a lot of really respectable things. Everyone can become a guru online. But what is going to be very important is to see who is a fake, the fake and phony, and the real ones. A lot of the things we see is fake, and it's going to be very important to learn to discern between reality and illusion. Because in the spiritual path, in this path of self realization, what has been so life changing for me is the understanding that manifestation and like true alchemy, and in order to really change and to really grow and to see the physical changes, because a lot of the talk, and now I'm talking spiritual community, a lot is always in the 5D. Oh, I think that is also the 5D. The spiritual realm is the 5D, the material is definitely a 3D. And a lot of the talk stays stuck at the 5D level. But a lot of people are frustrated with the fact that they cannot bring the 5D into the 3D, because at the end of the day, all these dreams and all these ideas and beliefs are beautiful, but if you are not living them tangibly, and if they are never coming into fruition in reality, that can be very frustrating. And we do not understand that there's a very tough process, and it takes a lot of work to bring ideas into practice, to turn into the person that we believe we can be, to turn into the person that we are telling people that we are, to not only present ourselves a certain way online, on media, on social media, but to actually be that good person in real life, to actually carry that love, and to actually, have integrity and have those values that we preach about in real life. I've been so disappointed with so many people that present themselves in a certain way, and when you meet them, ah, man, bums, man. There's no other way for me to say it. There's literally no other way for me to say it. And as everyone has this access to the online, I feel like it's going to be so important for us to learn to trust our own voice, to put priority to our feelings, because our feelings are also in the 3D. We can have certain information, but our body will react physically, and there's always something to learn about whatever is presenting itself in real life. We have to reconnect to our bodies. We have to be able to get information online, but then also close our computers and actually do something in the real world with that information. You cannot watch TikToks of people at the gym all the time getting notes and like having this idea that you're actually working out, but never actually going to the gym. That's not how it works. Like maybe in your mind you're a gym bro, but go in and actually put in the hours and the work. That's how the real change it's gonna happen. That was what I wanted to talk about. I think it's so important, and I don't know if I got the message across correctly in the way that I wanted, because I get so lost sometimes in the vast in how expansive and how much there's going on, and I could rant about this for hours, but I'll leave it at this for now. And it makes me think about one last thing that I want to share. I think if you know Magritte, it's a Belgian artist. Shout out to him. And he has this artwork that's very popular. Ceci n'est pas une pipe. So it says, "This is not a pipe." He actually made us reflect about the medium through which he presented a certain artwork, because he draws a pipe, but he says this is not a pipe because it isn't a pipe. It's a representation of a pipe. And this is going to be very important with our own ways of understanding media and the ways that we process information that we see on our phone. I want us to remember that this is not reality, or this is not the certain information that we see. It's only a representation of it. Keep that in mind. I hope it helps you in some kind of way. Anyways, thank you so much for being here. I really hope you liked it. And if you really came to this point of the video, shout out to you. Shout out to you. I always have so much respect for people that actually watch my videos to the end, because I feel like it takes it takes brains. I'm complimenting both of us, by the way. So if you're not an AI, if you made it all the way up to the end of the video, and if you like content like this, please feel free to like, subscribe to the channel. There's many more where this came from, and there's many more to come. And I hope to see you in the next one. Stay critical, stay balanced, take care of yourself, and see you around. Bye.